What's up? Well, today could be a good day. I think we found a lead on a flathead motor and transmission for our belly tank. So we're going to head there and check it out, and hopefully it's the one. We've been looking for quite a while, so fingers crossed. I'll let you know in a little bit. Well, I figure since I made the drive, I might as well stop and get me some Skyline. Look at these bad boys. Cheese conies. I love when I'm around to get these. So if you're ever in northern Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky area, stop in and get you a Skyline cheese coney. And no, I'm not sponsored, but I'm willing to listen. Man, that was good. Anyway, see that? Yeah. It's there. Now to head home. Heck yeah. Here we go. Look at her. I guess it's gonna look really good in the tank. This is out of a 1936 Ford, the 3-speed transmission. So we're gonna go ahead and get this bad boy out of here, and then I'll show it to you a little bit closer. Now, FYI, this is on wide angle, so if I'm larger than normal, that's why. Hopefully hear me over the wind. It's whipping today. We got the motor out, and just kind of give you a little closer up shot of it. It's in really good condition. From the videos, it sounded like it was running great. The car it came out of was gorgeous car. So this one's got the 94 carb on it. So yeah, man, digging it. Not a fan of the distributor and everything up here, but I think we should be pretty easy to work on it if we need to. I know it's kind of hard on most cars because you got to pretty much pull the radiator and everything else, but I'm digging this, man. This is going to look really good. All right, we're going to try to get it down on a dolly and get it into the garage. Woo, fast. Let me check that for you. I had a few comments that I forgot to put the actual seat in the last video when we made it so you could see what it looked like. So here it is. It's sitting in there right now. So like I said in the last video, I really couldn't mount it until we get the engine and everything in to see our placement. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool in there. I did go ahead and get the other side strap on there for the seat belt or the harness. So I think it looks pretty awesome. You also notice that the tank is flipped the opposite direction. I had to flip that around yesterday so we can end up trying to get that bad boy into here. So I'm going to knock out this gusset here real quick. I got to cut this out, and I made this little hoop. I'm going to weld into the back so I can cut this brace out, and then we'll go ahead and try to get the motor in, see what we can do, see if we can get it fitted or what. No idea. It'll work or it won't, I guess. So we'll see shortly. All right, I got our brace cut out, our new one welded in. I did measure before between 2 points before I cut the brace out after I welded it in, just to make sure that it didn't tweak at all. It didn't move at all, so that's good. Cut out our center gusset. So I'm going to hook up the engine and put it in. This is the first time I'm going to lift it and try it. I know I'm going to probably have to take it out 10 times. Our rear spline here is 10, and our coming out of our transmission is 6. So we do have our torque tube that we're going to have to cut down and make work. So I'm just going to try to get in here close. From what I measured, probably around 5 inches between our plate and the back of our transmission is where we need to kind of be. So that's just a lot of fabricating and measuring and stuff like that. But main goal is try to get this in, get it centered, see where it goes, and then try to do a little motor mounts or something like that. Don't know. This could be a disaster. We'll see. I think I know. I gotta move that stand. All right. Gotta call for backup real quick. Well, the lift was just a little too short because I was hitting the tail cone. Even if I came from the side, I was still about a foot off from getting where I need it. I had to readjust, so take 2 on getting this thing in here. Oop, what was that? That lines up with that. What is that hitting on here? Well, here's a sneak peek, quick idea of where it's at. We still got to come down quite a bit. I have a lot of room down here. I can bring it down, get the overall height dropped. But our main issue right now is, see this gusset under here? We're touching one side and not on the other. So we're going to, you can see it that way or not? Nope. So we're going to go ahead and lift the motor rack out and then cut that down and try again. Well, take 2. You can see we got this gusset. Nope, not that one. That was already cut out. This one we just cut out. And we were hitting right here on the bottom of this pan here, the bottom of the cover. So let's give her a whirl. So we got plenty of clearance there, plenty of clearance there. The lower we can get this in here is the better. Our carb's got to be level. So I'm just going to go off the top of the bowl. And looks like the back needs to come down, which is good. Okay. Now if I can bring the front down a little bit. Oh, just a smidge. Was that a smidge? I need to bring it forward some. That looks pretty good there for that. All I'm doing here is just kind of lining up our yoke with the back here, just kind of see where we're at before we make the next piece for that. Looks pretty centered, but once we center the front, we'll be able to tell some more. But I need to see. Well, that's maybe just a. What bouncing? That's pretty darn close there. I'll be back here with this. Well, that's pretty dang close too. Okay, so we got that there. Now we need to center it side to side and see what we got. And for that, the Duratech straps. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take the time to measure this and get this centered up, and then I'll come on and show you what I did, just so you have an idea. Because this is boring if you're not doing it, I guess. So, be back in a minute. So back here between these two plates, we have 5 1/8 inches. That's pretty square there. We got the trans centered in the back. This is centered just straight over to that for us to make what we need to. We got the straps in the front. We got that centered there. That's centered there. We're even here. We're even here from the same side. We got 5 inches here. And then there's our old center line mark. And that falls right in the center of our distributor. So we're good there. We still have good clearance down at the bottom. We'll figure out where our drain plug and all that is on the pan. And we'll draw a hole in the tank. So when we do an oil change, stuff like that, it'll make it quite a bit easier. Yeah, we don't have a lot of room up here. So we're probably going to cut this down just a little bit, but leave some of it for rigidity. That's coming out, but we're going to figure out where our firewall goes. So it was a pretty good estimate there. So, all right, I guess we're going to figure out our front motor mounts, so we can get that kind of stabilized. And then we'll move to these rears, get all that situated, and then the fun task of figuring out this part there. I have an idea, but you know how ideas go. So, looks pretty cool in there though, doesn't it? Digging it. It actually looks like something now. Real quick, I would just appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. It greatly helps me out with the analytics and everything else. Especially if you like what you're seeing, just take a second. It's free. Not all things are free anymore. This is free. So, yep, I appreciate it. Let's get back to it. We made a template, so we're going to try to cut this out of some rectangled tube. So it's going to end up going in about like that. So we're going to trace that bottom line, and we have it in some. And we have it in some of this. Was this 1x2? You guys see that angles we got here? Cut each one of those at 60 degrees, and we're going to try to bend it together and weld it up. We can see our reverse Pac-Man cuts. We have 4 of them, so we're going to try to bend this. And I don't know if we're going to have to bend it and then tack it and then do the next ones, or if we can kind of do it all at once and put a strap on it. But see what we can get here. Hey, look at there. Digging that. Let's see if I still have my thing over here still. Of course not. Okay, so, well, I guess we'll get a... Oh, shit. Let's get you in here. And then wheel. There. And this is really where having a template kind of helps, so you're not wasting a bunch of effort on some metal and everything else. Oh, no, come back. Yeah. Yo, okay. So there's our cross member, maybe. Let's see if it'll fit. Now you're getting ready to see this for the first time with me. So I told you I'd show you my mistakes and I'd show you the good stuff too. Ah, son of a... It's a little too short because of my pulley. Dang it. Like literally, barely. I wonder... Oh, you're over there. We're full. It's not bad though. I was hoping I could... I wonder if I could spread it out just a little, if that would drop it. All right, let me do some tweaking, see what we got. But overall, it's pretty close. I took off 1 inch and I shouldn't have, but you can kind of see right there we're going to be hitting. So let me see if I can drop it just a little. There we got our cross member welded up. I did cut this back, so I'm gonna put a plate on that to kind of even it down so we don't have a big square hard edge. Then we're gonna take some square tube, cut it down, and try to make like an angle mount for our mount here, and it'll extend over into this to weld it up so it's extra strong. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to try to figure out how to do. I think we're gonna use this big old 1/4 inch, cut it down. So, whew. I figured it would be smarter before I welded our bracket in to get our motor mount. You kind of see this crazy little contraption that I made, but it's going to rest on the actual arm and down at the bottom. So we're gonna get 2 weld spots there, and then we're gonna weld across the face there. And then once we get everything done, we can go underneath and weld everything else. But I think that's gonna be really, really strong. So you can kind of see fits tight there. And let's see how the bolt lines up. And, oh, where'd it go? If we get this tight in here, then we can tack the bracket to this, do the other side, and everything will be really nice and tight. In theory. Yeah, that looks good everywhere. All right. You guys see it'll weld all down through here on the bottom. We'll weld it around through here, and we'll weld here, and then down on the bottom side right through here too. So we'll have plenty of weld for that. I'm gonna go ahead and actually tack this side, and then I'll work on this side over here before we actually weld everything in. Tell you what, I'm wore out. I've been sick the last week, and boy, I'm drained today. So I'm going to finish welding up the motor mounts. Kind of see how that looks, and then we'll get it back in, get it bolted back up, and we can weld our 2 flanges. And all I got to do is the top plates. So almost there. All right, I'm gonna clean it up and get her back in to weld her up. Front motor mounts are in, and the cross member. So now that we have this cross member welded in, that's going to give our stability, so we can actually take this one out now. Still need to make our little end caps there to clean that up and pretty it up, but that's a wrap on the front mount. I think that turned out really cool. And now we're going to have to figure out these back 2 mounts here. And then the motor and trans will be fixed into the frame. I think it was some pretty good progress today. I think that fits in there really good. Very pleased with how it's sitting, and it's kind of low into the body or to the chassis. So, whew, I'm wore out, man. Ah, dang it. So for our rear transmission mounts, I had 2 of these brackets for a project I don't even know when, but this will mount to the frame rail, and then we drilled a hole here for our mount. And then to stiffen this up, we're just going to cut us some metal like this on each side for both, and then weld it all around. That's really going to stiffen it up. So I'm going to cut these and then get both of these welded up, and then we'll get them in. All right, we got both of the rear brackets welded up, and we're gonna get stuck into the frame now. Hopefully you can hear me, the wind's whipping hard today. Now we're gonna bolt this into the transmission here and see if we can get it welded up. Okay. There's that. Make sure it's all the way over. Ooh, I hope if you were on the nut, wouldn't it? Okay, tight there. Heck yeah, good. All right, and grounds, I got my ground on. All right, let's get this thing welded. Let's do it. Let's see. Woohoo! Woo! All right, got that side in. All right, I already went ahead and bolted the mount to the trans. This clamp to keep it tight. We'll go ahead and do the same thing from the other side. Engine and trans are mounted. 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And all the retaining straps are off. I think, oh yeah, I still have to do that right there. But that's not a big deal. So for the purposes of this, motor and transmission are installed. Man, that's a good feeling. Ow, that was hot. My hand right there. Don't put your hand where you just welded. Sheesh. Anyway, I'm pleased with this. I guess really our next step, well, there's a lot of next steps, but this was a big one, getting this in. We need to cut down our original torque tube to make these 2 splines attached, because we have a 10 spline and then a 6 spline in the front. So we're just gonna have to slice them and weld them up somehow, see if that works. And then we have to do the casing that goes on the outside of it. At least that's the plan for now. That's first option, so we'll worry about that one first. So we have to do that. Once we get that done, then we can finally do our rear traction bars to go to the front, because then we'll know that our axle's where we need it to be. After that, we can do the rear brakes, get that done. And then that just ties into, we need to make our shifting mechanism to go to the front. We need to get our seat put in, dashboard, floor, everything else. I mean, this was what we were waiting on, so that's huge. But the next step, the next video is either going to be, actually the next video is probably going to have to be this torque tube. I think I need to get that figured out first, so fingers crossed. Yeah, so overall, I'm freaking amazed that it's in, that it fits good, it looks good. So yeah, so thank you for keep coming back and watching these. You got any questions, comments, please reach out. Again, hit the subscribe button real quick. It's free. I appreciate it. But other than that, I guess I'll see you on the next one.